Hello, everyone. Hoop Smiles here, coming at you with a live hula hoop class. Hope everybody is doing well out there. And yeah, so let's get to it. The topic of the day is isolation. So I hope you brought your smaller hoops that you guys can isolate with. That's kind of my first tip for everybody who's going to be watching this is when you're doing your isolations, I recommend using a smaller hoop if you are a beginner doing it for the first time. The smaller hoop can definitely help you. Yes, hey Carla, so good to see you. So glad you're here. All right. So the topic of the day, like I was saying, isolations are fun. Let's do some isolations today. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is show you how to first do some basic isolations here. Let me adjust this camera. Let's get it a little better here. Yeah, so we're going to do some basic isolations, and then I'm going to show you some cat eye isolations, these really cool sort of isolation tricks that look like this. You can do horizontal. You can also do vertical cat eye as well. But before we get into that, I recommend that you learn the basic isolation first. So that's what we're going to go into. Thank you, Carla, so much for the donation. This is a free hula hoop class, but if you guys desire, you are welcome to donate as well to this class if you want to support this class. But yeah, it's all good either way. Yeah. Okay, the vertical. We're gonna get to the vertical in just a moment, but let's first look at the basic isolations here. I'm actually gonna take this smaller hoop. Might be a little easier here. So some of you may already know this, so this might be review. So I want you to grab your hoops. We're gonna do a basic isolation that just looks like this, and you're basically using one hand here. Just a little quick review here. I want you to hold your hoop at the very bottom here. It doesn't matter which hand, right or left is cool. Then we're going to go ahead and practice our basic isolation by moving our hands to one of the sides of the hoop. And you want to make sure that your hoop stays in one spot. You do not want your hoop to look like this. When I do this, all I'm doing is isolating my hands. You want to avoid this, and you want to more or less isolate the hoop. So your hand is kind of going around the hoop, just like that. So once again, the key here, make sure your hoop is in one spot. So find your center spot in the hoop, and that center should never move unless that's part of the isolation that you're doing. Requires that center to move. But for a basic isolation, that center point in your hoop should never move, and rotate it to the side. And then we're going to go up to the top so you cannot move your hand anymore. That's when you let go and then roll the hoop over the back of your hand to the other side. Okay, and that is your basic isolation. How's everybody doing with that isolation right there? And what's great about the basic isolation, you can throw another hand in there and kind of do like a, double-handed isolation, which is actually pretty simple. You're still just only gripping the hoop with your one hand, and then you use your other hand to kind of put it right here to make it look like you're holding on to it, but actually I'm really not. I'm just kind of lightly putting my hand here. The illusion of it looks like I'm holding on to the hoop, and I'm just going the same direction and then moving my hand. When I spin the hoop over the back of my hand at the top, I'm just basically moving it to the other side to follow, to get that illusion that I'm holding onto the hoop with two hands. So that's your two-handed isolation right there. So does anybody have any questions about those basic isolations before we move on to some of the more complex isolations? I feel like isolations are one of my favorite hoop tricks. Tons of fun. And if you ever perform them for people, people tend to find these hoop tricks to be really interesting and fascinating, especially if you're performing for a young audience like children. They're just like, whoa. I think I even had someone once, I performed at a Girl Scout camp, and I remember someone raised their hand and asked me a question. I think they were asking me if I was doing magic. So these isolations can be pretty magical. But let's go ahead and now move on to some cat eye isolations. I came dressed up today with my cat shirt. Got my two They got the two cat eyes right there. Well, I guess I always wear a cat shirt when I do these classes. Anyways, so isolations. So like I was saying before, there is the horizontal cat eye, and you also have this sort of vertical cat eye as well. So since Carla was asking about the vertical cat eye, let's go ahead and look at that one first here. One thing I recommend with this vertical cat eye is to get the full range of motion. So this full sort of range here, which you can't even see on my camera. I'll go and stand way in the back here. Let's see here. So to get this full range of motion going up and down, depending on your hoop size, if you have a larger hoop, that hoop can hit the ground. So I'll demonstrate with this sort of bigger hoop right here. So if you go too far down, your hoop's going to hit the ground. So if you have a bigger hoop, something I recommend doing when practicing your vertical isolations is to stand on a ledge, or stand on a bench or something where you're actually elevated up. And I'll actually do that with this chair here. Because if you stand on a ledge or even just a curb, you can sort of practice more of that, really getting that hoop to go all the way down instead of it going down and just hitting the ground. So that's my first tip is you might want to practice this on a chair or like a ledge of some kind so that you can kind of get used to that full range of motion going up and down. But like I always say, for the isolations, the smaller hoops are easier. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the smaller hoop here. But you definitely can do it with the larger hoops. Okay, so that vertical isolation. So what I would do is begin with your basic isolation. So like I just taught you right here, your basic isolation. And as you're doing your basic isolation and your hand is sort of at the bottom right here, this is when you kind of let the hoop drop, okay? So you're going to kind of drop that hoop. But as you drop that hoop, you're going to be moving your hand slightly to the side. So right now I'm using my left hand, but you can also do this with your right hand. So if let's see, I guess I would be spinning the hoop counterclockwise right now. So if you spin the hoop counterclockwise, you're going to want to move your hand to sort of the right side of your body, so over here. And as you drop that hoop, move your hand to the side. And then that's when you're in this position down here, similar to your basic isolation, you kind of roll your hand over the hoop, and then you're going to bring your hand to the other side and then go back up. And basically, you're kind of doing this slow sort of like, it's almost like let's see here. Yeah, whoop, I'm getting confused here. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of like a anti-spin type of experience when you do this horizontal isolation. So let's look at that again. So going vertical here, you got your hand holding it right there, and since I'm spinning it counterclockwise, I'm gonna drop that hoop, let that hoop fall, and then when it gets to the side, I'm gonna let go, roll it over the back of my hand, and as I come up, I'm gonna bring my hand to the left side, and then go all the way up. And then I'm going to re-straighten my hand out in the middle. And then I'm going to drop it again, just like that. So it's almost kind of like you might be making sort of a diamond shaped with your hand here. But I think what's kind of challenging about the vertical, and it might be more challenging than the horizontal cat eye, is gravity. The gravity when you do this trick can make this really challenging, because once you let go, obviously it's going to come down really fast. So it's really hard to kind of slow this trick down. So whereas with the vertical, you might be able to do a little bit more, you might have a little bit more control over that that hoop as you go horizontal. But anyways, okay. So going back to this, so now that you got the hand motions in place there, and you're holding it here and it goes to the side, when it's on this side, that's when you have to, when you're kind of doing that rolling over the back of your hand motion there. When you roll over the back of your hand, you have to pop your hand up really fast. So let's look at that right here. So I'm rolling a pop up. So you pop that hand up really fast as it's going over the back of your hand to get that hoop to come up. Yeah, this is tricky too, because you have to do pretty much all this simultaneously. You know, there's not really a point where you can pause this trick. You know, so let's go back to that. So I'm going back here and I'm doing that move, pulling it down. And then when my hand is here, I have to pop it up just like that. If that makes any sense. Is that making sense? How is everybody doing right now? Yeah, I woke up today like super, super tired. And yeah, and I'm here now. And so I hope I'm not appearing like a zombie here. But yeah, how is everybody doing with these tricks? Carla, how are you doing with the horizontal cat eye, or not the vertical cat eye? How are you doing with the vertical cat eye? Yes, but what is the hand in the top position? Let's look at that. So the hand in the top position, basically, I would say you're just holding the hoop overhand in that top position. Let me get closer here. Move that camera up. Okay. So middle position. Yeah, so the hand in the top position, basically you're holding it overhand in the center. And then as you drop that hoop, you're coming to the side, roll over the back of your hand, coming up, and then you continue that top position with your hand in the center, just like that. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense? Excellent, excellent. I'm glad you got it. Like I said, this is kind of a hard one. I feel like it's a little bit harder than the horizontal one, perhaps. And like I was saying before, it might be helpful to stand like on a curb or a ledge so you can get that full range of motion. Because if you're using a larger hoop, it might hit the ground. So just something to think about right there. Okay, so let's go back to these horizontal isolations. These are really fun right here. So this is kind of what it looks like going fast. And I think what's tricky about this too is when you move your hand to the side, you really want to make sure your hand gets all the way over to that side when you're doing your vertical isolations there. Because if you don't get your hand over enough, so I'm going to purposefully not move my hand over enough. See, notice how the hoop starts to then kind of go diagonal. See, like that. It's kind of going diagonal, so I'm not moving my hand over enough. And so see how it's kind of going off kilter there? So you really want to make sure that when you're holding the hoop in that top position, and then you're going to move your hand to the side, you want to make sure you get it all the way over to the side of your body. Because if you don't get it over to the side enough, it's just going to not be a straight line. Because the idea is with this vertical isolation, you want to go for a straight line. You don't really want that hoop to be going everywhere, every which way. So yeah, like I said, make sure you get your hand all the way over to the side when doing this trick, which can be really tricky. And, it might just take a lot of practice to do that. Because, I mean, even if you're doing your isolation and you're not getting it like that, what I would recommend doing is practicing this in front of a mirror can be really helpful to just kind of straighten out that isolation so that you see, okay, I'm going to the side like that. Then, just practice then moving your hand over further to the side you need to go to straighten that out. Hopefully that all makes sense. Okay. Daewoo, thank you for showing up. Thank you for the shout out there. I appreciate that. You're pretty awesome. But going back to the isolation and keeping it straight here, this vertical one, once you do get better with your vertical and you can actually control your isolations, that's when you can purposefully, if you want to, sort of do those diagonal isolations as well. You know, if you're like, I want to do this, so more of, like I said, that diagonal isolation, but that requires a lot of control with your hands. And I would recommend learning first before you practice, you know, sort of these other isolation movements, really mastering your horizontal and vertical cat eyes first. You know, and then you can try these other sort of isolations, diagonal, you know, whichever way you want to go, pretty much. All right. Thank you, Daewoo. You're awesome too. You are awesome. Everyone is awesome. Awesome. When I point over here, there's a huge screen on the wall and I can see everything blown up on my computer screen. So that's what I'm looking at when I point that way. I'm actually saying you're awesome to the computer screen, but I mean that to you. But how's the horizontal ones going? How's the horizontal cat eyes? I actually really like horizontal cat eyes. I think they're a lot of fun. Let's do a quick review. I know I've talked about this in a live class before, but the horizontal cat eyes. So kind of like the vertical cat eyes, similar starting point. Start here with your hand on the bottom, gripping the hoop, your 6 o'clock point on your hoop. And basically, when you do your horizontal cat eyes, you're going to then move your hand to the right. And as you move your hand to the right, and you're about to roll your hand over the back, or roll the hoop over the back of your hand, that's where you're going to let go and let that hoop actually pop out all the way to your right side. And you're going to then bring the hoop back, and you're going to sort of move your hand down back to that 6 o'clock location. So you should be at the 6 o'clock when that hoop is in front of you. And then you're going to move the hoop all the way over to your left side. And then your hand will be at that 3 o'clock location. And then when you come back, that's when you're going to roll the hoop over the back of your hand again and go all the way over to your right side, gripping the hoop in the 9 o'clock location. So something you might want to just practice in this whole thing is just doing that, rolling the hoop over your back of your hand. This is something that you can actually practice back and forth, because you want to eventually learn how to do your horizontal isolations, you know, both directions. But yeah, I recommend trying that, because I feel like probably one of the most vulnerable parts of this trick is that rolling the hoop over the back of your hand. So if I have it over here on my left side at that 3 o'clock position right here, and then rolling it over the back of my hand to the 9 o'clock position. But like I said, practice going back and forth. This is a really good thing to do right here to just kind of get better with your horizontal isolations. Yes, yes. But this is also one of those things, I think I've shared this before in another class, where it can be helpful to do your horizontal isolations on the floor. So I'm going to get on the floor here, because the floor is a really good guide. Because if your horizontal isolations are unsmooth, then there's a chance that the hoop will just hit the floor. So the floor will kind of tell you right away if you're doing a good job or not. So when you do your horizontal isolations on the floor, sit down and you can just practice this, keeping that hoop parallel just off the surface of the ground. And you don't want to hit the ground with your hoop. But like I said, the floor can be a good guide to doing these horizontal isolations, because you really want to keep your isolations pretty parallel to the ground. You don't want those isolations moving all over the place. How's everybody doing here? All right, we got someone from Peru. That is so cool. I've never been to Peru. That'd be awesome. Thank you, Daewoo. I love that move. How is everybody doing out there? I struggle with ghosting. Would like to figure it out. I don't even know what ghosting is. What is ghosting, Carla? Um, I feel like there's all these names for hoop tricks and things that just come up, and I'm just like completely lost at times with all the different names. But yes, tell me what that is, and then I might be able to help possibly with that one. But yeah, how is everybody doing? You know, I didn't ask it. Where is everybody from today? I usually always ask that, but I didn't ask. Looks like we got someone from Peru. But where are you watching from today? Um, okay, like isolation looks like two hands. Okay, you're okay, Washington State. I'm in Washington State. I'm actually in the city of Seattle right now. Cindy from Alabama. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Uh, like isolation looks like two hands. I'm still not exactly sure what that is. Like one hand on top and one on bottom. Okay. I'm not sure if I know how to do that one. Karen. Excellent. I'm not sure, is that your name? But thank you for being here. Dave, oh, you're in Vancouver. Excellent, excellent. I haven't really hung out in Vancouver, but that's great. But anyways, does anybody have, other than the ghosting, I'm not sure exactly what that is, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I think I know what you're talking about, but honestly, I haven't really practiced that kind of isolation. There's also this kind of isolation. This is a very simple isolation where you use two hands like this. Do you guys want to learn this? This is really easy. I feel like that's actually even easier than doing a basic isolation. But if you take your hoop and basically you're just holding it right at the bottom like this, you're giving the illusion that you're, holding the hoop with both hands, but actually I'm only holding the hoop with one hand. So if I hold the hoop with my right hand and then I kind of make it look like I'm holding with my left, just at that 6 o'clock marker there, I'm just moving the hoop, see, with my right hand here. And then I'm going to the top here, and then I let go with my right hand, and then I use my left hand to bring it down, but making it look like I'm still holding on to it. And then I let go with my left hand, and then do this. This is a very easy, simple little illusion here, but still can look really cool if you do in a show. But anyways, that's what that reminded me of when you talked about the two-handed isolation. But the one I think you're talking about, like I said, I'm not sure if I know how to do that. But I don't even know what this is called. But it can be fun. Whew. Alrighty. Okay. I'm trying to think. More isolations. You guys have any more isolation questions? Let's see here. Oh, it's not that cool. Vancouver's not that cool, or that isolation trick I just did is not that cool. I only drive through Vancouver. I don't really stop there. So I don't know. But that is ghosting, I believe. That is? Okay. Hey, I don't know. Is that ghosting? I don't know. Yeah, Portland is pretty cool. I've been to the market. There's like a Saturday market there that's pretty cool. But I haven't really done much in Portland. But yeah, I was also thinking too, isolations. Does anybody have any like hand hooping things they want to talk about? Very similar to the isolations is kind of like these anti-spin maneuvers where it looks really cool. Like this actually, I kind of feel like, the way you move your hand and sort of the anti-spin reminds me of the cat eyes, if that makes any sense. Nice. That's cool. You have a big hoop community there. But yeah, do you guys want to look at some anti-spin like this? We got this sort of, it's kind of like a triangle position right here. Yeah. What do you guys say? All right, let's do some anti-spin. Excellent. Okay. So the key to this anti-spin, so similar to the isolation, I guess, here. If you just want to start holding your hoop at that 6 o'clock position, hopefully you guys are okay with me using a clock to explain where you hold the hoop. So 6 o'clock. And then what you're going to do here is similar to the horizontal isolation. You're going to kind of come down here to your side. If I spin the hoop to the, I guess I'm spinning it counterclockwise, and I go to the left here. You're going to go to your side, and that's when you're going to kind of roll the hoop over the back of your hand and pull it up. And then you're going to slide back to the center point, and then you're going to kind of go back here, let the hoop do one circular rotation, and then go back, and then kind of do this sort of triangle motion with your hand, kind of like what I'm doing right now. And I guess the key to the anti-spin is the way that you're moving your hand. It's kind of like you're going, let me see here, the opposite direction that you're spinning your hoop. And you're kind of using the momentum of that. I don't even know how to explain it, like the opposite direction to kind of slingshot the hoop into this really cool sort of motion right here. But like I said, I feel like there's some qualities that sort of mimic that that cat eye isolation in there, but instead of, you know, going this way like this, you're now kind of making 3 points instead of 2. So I don't know if this is all making sense or anything, but yeah, I think the anti-spin can be pretty cool, pretty fun, but yeah, how is everybody doing with that anti-spin? I feel like I didn't really explain that at all. I don't know. Maybe I feel like my mind is just filled with all this stuff today. I think it's because I woke up late. But yeah. Does anybody have any more questions? Any more questions for me? I think I might actually end this class here in just a moment. And just want to say that I don't actually have any more classes scheduled in the future here. Not sure what the outlook is of this this live hula hoop class is in the future. It's been you know, an interesting experience for me going live. Definitely different than actually making videos and editing them and then posting them on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, how do you guys like this whole live experience? Do you like you know, watching me live, getting live feedback in the moment, that kind of thing? Do you prefer this over, you know, if I just basically made videos, posted them up on YouTube, like, hey, this is how you do this trick. This is how you do a horizontal cat eye. Personally, I think it's kind of fun to talk to y'all through the chat feature here on YouTube and go live. But yeah, just, you know, putting that out there. Like I said, I don't have any classes scheduled for the future. So yeah, what's your opinion on that? Oh, thank you, Daewoo. I'm glad. Can you show us the under the leg tricks you can do? Under the leg tricks. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the under the leg tricks. I shared your live stream in my group Spinning Love and Vancouver, Washington Hoopers on Facebook. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really like it live, especially the theme classes and being able to ask questions. Yes, Carla, I feel like you've attended my live classes the most out of anyone, and I always smile when I see you in my class. You definitely yes, brighten my day. I was kind of like, What? Carla's not in my last class. I noticed you weren't there last time. Okay, jumping in and out with each leg. Oh, that one. Called the jester dance, sort of that leprechaun jig. Um, Unfortunately, you know what? I actually don't perform that trick anymore. Partly because I have some leg issues. Yeah, I've kind of like excluded that one from my trick repertoire. I'm getting old here, and yeah, so that leg, jumping in and out of the hoop with one leg, I don't really. That is a great trick, but definitely for the people that have some good knees. So unfortunately, I won't be doing that. There is a chance I might revive that trick here in the future, but yeah, thank you. But let me see here. Excellent. But yeah, let's go ahead and end it here. I think I'm getting to the end of my time in this room anyways. But yeah, stay in touch on my website for the live classes. I might bring this back. I might also try another platform. There's other platforms to stream live. It's been an interesting YouTube streaming experience here. I might also try streaming on Facebook live. There's also the possibility of Twitch, just because I've heard good things about that. I know that there's like no like hula hoop live community there, but maybe we could be the first hula hoop live stream on Twitch. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. Visit my website. I'll go ahead and put that in the description. The link to that part of my website. Also, stay in touch on my Facebook page as well. Oh, thank you, Daewoo. If you build it, they will come. I like the Field of Dreams reference. Great movie. Excellent. Well, anyways, I'm signing off, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the isolations. You guys are all awesome and amazing. And it will be cool to do another live class again. But I'll keep you posted. Till next time, see y'all later.